It's 2021 and DC Comics are still on the top when it comes to entertainment and movies. The new Batman series, Batman Soul of the Dragon, features a 1970s Batman movie with an amazing storyline and plot, which we will be discussing today. Welcome back to our channel, guys. In today's video, we will be reviewing another amazing movie. We're going to go through all of its notable executions as well as the cons of the film. Stick with us till the end to get every bit of detail with the reaction video we have prepared for you. Alright folks, without further ado, let's get right into it. Let's begin by describing a plot. A lot of the DC Comics almost never fail to impress us with their storylines. It's fair to say that this movie has a pretty decent storyline too. A storyline that will intrigue all of us to want to know more about it. The whole plot revolves around a bunch of students with exceptional talents and abilities who are on a quest. The quest is based on a common mentor that these students shared who happened to go missing. Batman is one of these supernaturally talented students. The whole movie takes place in the 1970s setup. It is also exciting to see the entire plot executed through DC's classic 2D animation. The 1970s was a time when Kung Fu and martial arts literally ruled the entertainment industry. Everyone was interested in nothing other than Bruce Lee's Game of Death and Jackie Chan's Drunken Master. To dump it down, the 1970s was an era of martial arts. The new Batman series, Soul to the Dragon, gives us a slight flashback into that era. A flashback that could make nostalgia run down the spines of lovers of Kung Fu and martial arts. DC Comics back then also took after the trend. Most of the DC Comics, including Batman, were directed towards martial arts and other action sources of the sword. Batman was more of a martial artist than a techno geek back in those days. We must admit that in the movies these days, martial arts are not given the same hype it used to get. Movies and series these days are more focused on guns, stunts, and advanced super technology. Just when it began to occur to us that DC Comics have drifted far from martial arts, Soul of Dragon was released to prove us wrong. The film is set in a very entertaining way and delivers the kind of kung fu action from the 1970s. Another impressive feature of the movie is its captivating cast. The movie revolves around the entire gang, which gives us an equal mix of characters and does not center only around Batman like the usual trend. It all begins when Bruce Wayne returns after a long journey across the world. During this journey, he travels around the world while he learns and develops his jiu-jitsu and kung fu skills. As he returns, he is handed out a letter by one of his colleagues from the martial arts class. The letter reveals that they have a certain task to accomplish for which they would require the assistance of their other colleagues with whom they spend time learning martial arts. The two other students include Lady Shiva and Bronze Tiger. Unless all the students join hands with each other, the evil forces cannot be destroyed. Each of the characters in the film has done a pretty good job at playing their part. Each of them gives us a good awareness and understanding of what could be going on inside the minds of the characters. Of course, since it is a Batman film, even though every character gets a fair amount of screen time, Batman is still going to be the center of everyone's attention. Unlike other movies, where Batman is usually seen hidden under his jet black batsuit and mask, for the most part of this movie, the story revolves around Batman when he isn't really playing Batman's role. To put it in simpler words, the story mainly focuses on Bruce Wayne rather than Batman all dressed and geared up. This can be seen as a plus point as well as negative. It could be a plus point for those who want to see the more human version of the superhero, which is seldom showcased. But for those who expected him to be entirely geared up, this may have been slightly dissatisfying. Apart from all the martial arts and spiritual enlightenment displayed in the film, Bruce's character also goes through a different kind of path, which is way more intense. Bruce's character is played out in a way like never before and is quite interesting. It depicts the more spiritual version of him and shows how much resentment he has built up inside of him, regardless of how long it has already been since the incident. While some may find it cringeworthy, it's actually a pretty good take on Bruce Wayne. There are some sad twists to the story where we observe Bruce Wayne isolating himself from nearly everyone he knows, so that his path towards his goals remains unshaken. But for those who expected Batman to take the center alone, this is definitely not one for them. It's more of a story that portrays the whole group as one rather than showing Batman independently accomplishing his mission. But on the bright side, Batman's spotlight is shared with the other DC heroes who rarely get acknowledged much. This gives viewers a bigger idea of DC heroes rather than the usually centered ones. Among the main leads, Richard Dragon, played by Mark Dacascos, gets the most of the center stage. A good part about Richard's character would be the originality of it. We all know how his character was manipulated into a different role in various other series and movies. But in Soul of Dragon, Richard Dragon's character stays true to the one that was originally planned out by the initial DC Comics. Originally, Richard has a humorous as well as a heroic side to him in the movie. Richard's efforts at trying to fight against evil, be it through his thoughts or even physically, make him a heroic character that the public would be absolutely pleased with. Nothing can beat the fantastic duo of Richard and Bruce. Some of us could even end up liking Richard's role way more than Bruce's. The differences and similarities between the two make them one of the most fun duos ever in DC history. Anyone who is a fan of DC Comics probably has already guessed what roles Lady Shiva and Bronze Tiger could be playing. The two of these characters have a reputation for being in the bad books of people. Most of the time, they are cast as villains or made to play negative roles, but that's not entirely the case. This time, Bronze Tiger is given a position directed a bit more to the positive side of the story, but things haven't changed with Lady Shiva's character all that much. She is still pictured as a know-it-all who has supernatural powers and is too good at what she does, but still chooses evil over good. Lady Shiva is depicted as someone who plays a significant role in the criminal doings of Gotham City. Her character was executed perfectly, but a little more detailed description of her transition from good to evil would have strengthened her role a lot more. Nevertheless, she is by far one of the most charming yet bewitching characters in the film. The cast does a pretty good job at portraying Bronze Tiger as well. It's fascinating to observe his heroic side since we're so used to picturing him as someone who is meant to cause trouble. His conversion to a more positive and better person makes viewers fall in love with his character. Everyone feels empathy and compassion for a villain who turns into a good person. A bunch of other characters that may not have gotten much screen time but play pivotal roles in the development of the story include their sensei, who has quite a sense of humor and wit, and King Cobra, who gives a mysterious touch to the story just like what we would expect from a cult leader. What really boosted the quality of the film would be the graphics. The graphics may be two-dimensional DC comic graphics, but on a whole other level. It's evident that there is so much effort put into every little characteristic and attribute of the film, it's almost mesmerizing. The way the fight scenes have been executed is just top-notch, and one just cannot get enough of how perfectly the element of martial arts is sketched out in the film. Overall, the movie is pretty entertaining with both humor and darker themes to it. The cast is an interesting element in the movie, and you can't help but feel the heroic aura. For Batman lovers, this could also be an experience of getting to know a side of Bruce Wayne that isn't showcased all that much. So that was our review on the new Batman Soul of Dragon. Have you watched the movie? Let us know your thoughts about it in the comment section below. We hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure you smash that like button and subscribe to our channel right away. Also, press the tiny bell icon on the side to stay notified and updated on all our amazing content. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next video.